Welcome to Extraordinary League, an actual play RPG podcast brought to you by Smash Fiction. I'm Dan Mulkerin, your game master. Playing Stitch is Kit Mulkerin.
Please imagine Stitch wearing a Prince Adam wig for the following.
I said, hey, yay, 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 hey, yay, yay. Dante, hey! What's going on?
Playing Dante is Liz Logan.
Double 5, Stitch!
Playing Nico Minoru is Miles Schneiderman.
Go away.
Playing Luna Lovegood is Megan Bob.
Dear Quibbler readers, I didn't just go to the zoo with Venusaur. We went to all the zoos. Well, not all the zoos, but certainly a lot of them. And we made sure to get gifts for everyone. We found a Wolverine plushie for Stitch that makes noise, a knit hat with barriers on it for Archer, a book of historical phylogenetic trees for Mordin, a scarf with flamingos on it for Lace, and a lemur backpack for Dante. It's one of those little bags where the straps look like the lemur's holding onto you. I'm sure you've seen them before. I had wanted to tell everyone about the zoo and show them pictures, but it seems a great deal happened while I've been away. Dante's got just one hand, and up until now, I remember him having two hands. So something quite awful must have happened. I'm not sure where we're going next, but I'll send posts soon. Lots of love, Luna.
Playing Mordin Solus is Claire Mulkerin.
How does a doctor, soldier, geneticist, engineer spend what remains of his last 10 years as a Solarian who does his best, but he is just one person, and he knows that his health will only worsen? The music theater, research leader, Stop Krogan breeder, studied the keepers, defeated all the reapers by thinking a lot deeper and not being a weeper by himself. He cured plagues in his bodega on Omega. Then one day, while he was running tests on seashells, he blacked out, found himself inside a tube of green gel. Escaped, he and his friends were rescued by a League cell. But how to beat Phyrexia, they got to get some intel. Now so many worlds he's seen, and so many foes he's slain, by using science so advanced that it mimics the arcane. They made Phyrexia's Nexus City invasion, and in vain. Now the League secured 2 stones, but there's still 3 more to gain. Now the League's on fire, saying there's no hill that we can't climb. And Mordin, you're a killer, and you can really rhyme, man. But no matter what he does, soon that bell is gonna chime, man. He cannot run, and he's running out of time, man. Mordin Solus the Solarian. I'm Mordin Solus the Solarian, and there's a million things I haven't done, but it's too late, it's too late.
Damn.
Okay,
nice.
So now Kit and Miles are the only people who have never rapped on Smash Fiction. So previously, the Extraordinary League's headquarters of Castle Grayskull on Eternia was invaded by a monstrous army led by ex-League member Demona. The resulting struggle ended up being fierce and unpredictable, but by the end of it, Demona and her forces were defeated, and the witch known as Flemeth took up the mantle of Grayskull's sorceress. The other members of the League have returned to Grayskull, and repairs are moving along nicely, meaning that the time has come to once again look out to the multiverse in search of the 5 gems which hold the key to defeating Phyrexia. But in the meantime, what have each of you been up to since reclaiming Grayskull?
I only have one hand! Did you know I had these guns?
And you only discovered that you had 2 guns after you lost one hand. Tragic, cruel irony. Yeah, so Dante, many members of the League have rallied around you since the loss of your hand and all the stories of you going up against Demona when she was empowered with the power of Grayskull. And you've actually seen a lot more support from the other teammates in the castle than you have since you first arrived here.
Do you have a hand? Or can I get a hand?
Has anyone seen Luke? He was supposed to give me some advice.
It's like, and I go around, like, trying to open a door, and I use my stump, and I'm like, oh. I go to, like, grab a Lunchable from the counter, and I just, like, knock it off. Oh.
That is the saddest scene!
No.
I'm gonna say the scene is the kitchen in Grayskull, and the camera shows Dante sitting on the floor, picking pepperoni off of the ground.
Oh, shit!
And, you hear some footsteps on the stone nearby, as you see Princess Zelda has walked into the room. She turns, spots you, and walks over to you carefully and gently, and then kneels down and says, Dante,
lady.
I had heard that you had experienced some hardship during your last battle. I'm sorry to hear that the rumors were correct.
I'd offer you to shake my hand, but there is no hand.
Well, I may be able to help with that. My cell had created a number of spare parts for our teammate, the Terminator, back before he was claimed by Phyrexia, but we still have those spare parts. It's not perfect, but if you were to talk to perhaps Dr. Solus or the emergency medical hologram, they might be able to cover one of those skeletal hands with a false epidermis or something along those lines.
Yes, I want to talk to your people, but also, you have any extra spare parts for something else?
Did you receive additional injuries during the fight?
Well, not injuries per se, but I am looking to upgrade. You know what? That's neither here nor there. I'd love to talk to your people.
Okay, who else would like to go?
I'm in my room.
Not even hanging out with Flemeth?
No, I'm reading.
Now that you were forced to socialize and roleplay with people, you've gone back to reading the Tome of Eternal Darkness?
I mean, look, nobody said that. I just said I was reading.
Okay, so let me ask you, when last we saw you, you had created an impenetrable barrier around Frostmourne. What have you done with Frostmourne since then?
Okay, so here's my first question. Did everyone just ignore it, or am I allowed to do something with it? Because, like, if I can have it, I'll take it. It'll be, like, hanging on my wall.
Mordin would be in favor of putting it in one of those, like, little side passages, like one of, like, the little secret hallway things in it. And he would also put, like, a bunch of, maybe, like, if we have the capacity, I imagine we do, to put up, like, cameras and motion sensors in, like, the hallways around it, so that if someone's coming, it'll, like, set off a thing.
Oh, Sombra and Cambot got you.
No, well, I mean, but we have to study it, though.
We got so much crap to study.
Well, okay, you study that crap. I am perhaps the person best suited to study the sword, given that it's magical.
It has a proven track record of... is this a scene? Are we doing this as a scene now?
This is absolutely a scene.
We'll say that this is happening while some of, like, the security systems are being set up. Mornin's going to say, the sword has a track record already that we have seen of it displaying some form of intelligence and a tendency to exert a psychic influence on people. I've seen something before in the case of Reaper indoctrination, and this seems to be a similar sort of phenomenon.
What's your evidence for this?
Based on the testimony of Dante and the symptoms he has experienced.
So you're saying that Dante acted like a psychopath and he was under the influence of something?
How many research papers and studies have you performed on psychic indoctrination?
I don't know. How much magic do you know? That's a magical sword. We found it in an ice cave.
To act as though there is some hard line between your area of expertise and mine is foolhardy.
Okay, I think
What?
I think at this point we need a Commander Shepard to enter and rule in favor of one of these two characters. So if another character would like to enter and break this stalemate, go for it.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I can just bop in there.
So yeah, Luna, you happen to pop into a door in the wall that you hadn't seen before, and you realize that there's these secret passages, and you see Mordin arguing with a young woman with a staff. She's holding Dante's sword. It's wrapped up in this weird mystical bubble.
Oh my gosh. How did you get that sword away from Dante?
Who are you?
Is this related to the hand thing?
Some extreme measures were needed to be taken. And in order to ensure that this doesn't happen to someone else, we have to take even more extreme measures. We have to lock this thing away. And yet some people seem eager to be the next one to lose a limb to this,
Touch
to whatever
the sword.
this thing is.
Touch it right now. It's locked away. It is locked away. I have magic around it.
Well, I do have magic around it, but it's a very powerful sword. I mean, Dante's fairly magical.
Who are you?
Oh, sorry. I'm Luna. Hi.
Oh, hi.
I'm so sorry I haven't met you before. I would have brought you something from the zoo.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but there are ways to undo these sorts of things. This isn't necessarily permanent, especially with something this powerful, right? It's better just keep it away from people.
I mean, that's fine. I thought you had some like intellectual curiosity. I guess you're just rigid-minded.
Mordin can be rigid-minded. However, how powerful would somebody need to be to undo the locks you've placed on this sword?
Very.
Are you the only one who could do it?
I'm sure that the new sorceress, who we know wants this sword, would be capable of doing it.
I think that might be a risk. Are you prepared to fight Flemeth and keep it safe from her?
I don't know. Flemeth is, as far as I can tell, Flemeth is a better individual than a lot of people hanging out here. But regardless, if you're worried about her getting the sword and you think it'll be safe from her in some corridor of the castle she now controls, then by all means, hide it away.
I'm willing to bring it somewhere else, but I also want to be somewhere that we can keep an eye on it.
Okay, I'm just
How
offering
about we
to
keep
give
an
you a
eye
hand.
on it?
A floating magical hand is all I'm offering you.
You can study it later. Is that okay?
Right. That's fine.
You have your book, I have my Phyrexian samples that I need to view.
Oh, my book! And Nico runs out of the room.
Okay. So Frostmourne is stored within the secret passages in the halls of Castle Grayskull under tight security at all times.
Luna needs to go see Flemeth.
Okay. Are you meeting Flemeth in her new sorceress's chambers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you come out into this kind of smallish room with very high ceilings and a throne in the shape of a skull at the top of a long staircase. Flemeth looks down at you and cocks her head slightly and says, I don't believe I've met you, young witch.
I don't think I've met you before either. You have a very distinct decor. I'm Luna.
In fairness, 'twasn't my decor, but I can't say as I dislike it much. I am Flemeth, the new sorceress of Grayskull. Is there something I can do for you?
Well, I believe in honesty, so I'm just going to ask, are you going to kill us all?
That is an extremely direct question.
Thank you.
Why do you think I would be intending on killing all of you?
I don't know. Why would you? It just seems like a risk, and I just wanted to know. I mean, look, I've dealt with plenty of very powerful people who wanted to kill me, my friends, a lot of people. So, I've given up on waiting. I'm just going to ask.
Well, I can't say as I believe that will be the most effective strategy moving forward, but I certainly admire the spirit with which it is being addressed. As for me, no. I have no intention of killing you or any of your friends. Really, I have no intention of killing anyone. The only people that I kill are those who get in my way.
Okay. I mean, you know that no matter what, I would never use an unforgivable curse on you, yes?
There are unforgivable curses, are there?
I'm in my world, yes.
As it happens, young witch, in my world, every curse was an unforgivable curse. Hence why certain of us had to build themselves up to be as powerful as we are today.
Well, I won't use an unforgivable curse on you, but I don't want to be in a situation where I have to cast a cheering charm on you until you wish I had used an unforgivable.
She raises an eyebrow and says, I will take that under advisement. It was a pleasure talking to you, Luna.
It was a pleasure talking to you. And then I leave I just had a spare magnet from the zoo, and it says, zoos, they're adorable. And then I just leave it on her desk and just sort of waltz out of the room.
I love the idea that a sorceress of Grayskull has a front desk. That's very good.
It's where she keeps all of her papers.
Absolutely. Lots of filing to be done when you're a sorceress.
Yeah, all the scrolls.
I had no idea Luna could be so intimidating, but that was some...
That was pretty chilling.
Man, when you've been through, the fucking Wizarding Wars.
What happened on that zoo trip?
I saw an otter. It was really great.
So, Stitch walks through the secret passages, right past the now hidden sword. But it's in, a very similar passage that he stowed away Skeletor's little staffy thing.
Oh, his Havoc staff?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's gonna grab that and bring it back over to where Wex is hanging out.
Okay. Wexter, the tiny T-Rex who was transformed into a giant sunglasses-wearing Gatling gun arms-having giant T-Rex, is now back to his tiny self, now that the honor of Grayskull has been banished, essentially. You walk up to Wexter, who greets you with his traditional squeaky growl.
Where is Mordin's lab? Because that's where Lace is probably being kept, or being monitored, right?
That's correct. I will say also, Stitch, you've noticed that you've been having greater and greater ease of movement since Frostmourne was sealed away. You're actually feeling like the damage to your spine might be healing now that the evil magic which damaged you in the first place has been cut off.
Okay. Stitch is gonna sneak on over to Mordin's lab and wait for Mordin to very audibly be arguing with Nico somewhere.
Okay.
And he's gonna bring Wax with him and explain.
Okay, I have the stick. We're gonna find the spell to fix Lace.
And then he just like looks at some boring looking thing in Mordin's lab. Sure, that computer over there.
Wexter gives you a look that says, I'm sure this is a great idea.
Definitely don't talk to any of your wizard friends about this.
He's gonna wave the Havoc Staff at one of Mordin's very expensive looking computers.
Oh no.
Stitch, make a psyche check at -6 column shifts.
Oh, fuck yes.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get out my chaos magic table.
Oh, yes!
Oh,
Everything
no.
I wanted. Oh, yeah, that's a fucking white.
Okay, Stitch, roll a D100 for me.
Yes.
Shocking.
94. Why couldn't that have been the thingy?
So, Mordin, you return from finally winning your argument against Nico, having sealed away Frostmourne in a high-security secret passage. You enter your lab, and you see that Stitch and Wexter are currently chasing one of your computer monitors through the lab. The computer monitor doesn't appear to have any visible limbs, but it is moving extremely quickly, just sort of like hopping along.
Hey, fix Lace.
What did you do?
Trying to fix Lace.
I'm gonna walk over and boot up the NeuroShock on my Omni tool and hold out towards the computer and be like, is this a good idea? Or am I gonna fry some things? Whatever you did, undo it.
Okay.
He's gonna wave the staff against
No!
the computer.
Okay, make it the same psyche check.
Oh, shit. Yellow.
Okay. So yeah, you swing Skeletor's Havoc Staff, and this like white bolt of energy shoots out of the skull on the end. It hits the computer monitor, which like jumps in the air, quivers, and then falls over dead with a small puff of smoke coming out of the screen.
Stitch will slowly turn to look up at Mordin.
I fixed it. You're welcome.
Mordin's gonna try to grab the staff and say, how many more stupid things do we need to put behind barriers?
When are you gonna fix Lace?
Lip quiver.
No.
Big eyes. Ears very far back.
It's a very complicated problem. I will do the best I can, whatever it takes. From now on, finding a way to cure this infection is my #1 priority.
So Mordin, you have been putting in some time studying the weird condition that Lace is in. You know, she has this area of her which is ostensibly infected by Phyrexia, but it has not spread, and you haven't seen any changes in her biology, even in the infected area just past the actual infection. And even during the period where she was removed from stasis, when Grayskull was being invaded, she didn't experience any further advancement of the infection or cell degradation or anything like that. So at this point, you do feel as though you've reached the limits of what your research can do while she is being kept in a coma.
So I think Mordin's gonna say to Stitch, I know that you want her to be free, and I think that from what I can gather, it's safe for her to be up on her feet a bit. But I do think we should have some sort of anesthetic on hand in case things go bad, so we can put her under again. So for now, I think it's safe for me to let her out, but I'm still going to be doing everything I can to study. I have a lot of blood samples and flesh samples of both infected and non-infected areas, and I can use that in my research. I don't need her anymore.
Stitch perks up.
Yes, do it. Wake her up.
All right, so I'm going to do that.
Lace's large red eyes slowly blink open for the first time in weeks.
Stitch is gonna glump her. Jumping hug her right around the neck.
She immediately nuzzles into you with all the affection of a super adorable, feathery, scaly dog. As you and Lace are finally cuddling, reunited, you guys hear what sounds like a voice muffled and from very far off, but it kind of sounds like, "The will of Skeletor will not be denied! I demand an audience! Seriously, where is my Havoc Staff?"
We'll walk over and take a look.
Yeah, Skeletor is standing outside the castle, across the giant chasm, which is now not being bridged by the drawbridge. He's standing there, like, waving his fists in the sky in this weird, like, looped animation, screaming out for the return of his Havoc Staff.
I'll say, go away! We don't want any!
No, listen! That's not... I'm not offering anything aside from potential mercy, along with the timely return of my possessions. Namely my staff. I know you have it in there somewhere.
Nope, I think we have all the encyclopedias we need at this time. Thank you very much.
Listen, I don't... Please give me my Havoc Staff back.
Stitch is gonna get on the intercom that has been installed.
Doo-doo head!
Doo-doo head?
Yeah!
You're the doo-doo head? Skeletor is the one who calls others a doo-doo head.
Are the rest of us hearing all of this?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, this is all on the intercom system being blasted through the interior of Castle Grayskull.
Stitch is gonna put Lace on the mic. She also said doo-doo head.
Oh, it was clear. Mordin, you're the only one on the wall right now, so you see Skeletor slowly, eventually lower his fists, and he looks up at you specifically, Mordin. You mark my words. Skeletor gave you a chance for mercy. He gave you a chance to redeem yourself. What follows will be on your heads, and your heads alone. And with that, he turns around and walks off.
All right.
Eventually, you are all called to the meeting room, which is usually a sign that some sort of mission is about to begin.
Can Lace walk?
Yes, she can.
Okay.
She's actually up on her feet very quickly.
Oh, great.
Who is calling me and how? By what means?
I'm going to say that Flemeth appears in your room, Nico.
Oh, shit. Hey.
She nods at you and says, enjoying your reading material, I see.
Enjoying's a word, yeah.
Good. Should you have time, your presence was requested by the leader of this little group down in the meeting room. It sounds as though there's something to discuss.
God. Fine.
She nods and vanishes.
You play a teen so well.
In the meeting room, all of you arrive and meet up with Buffy and Doc Brown, and Flemeth is also there. Buffy smiles as all of you enter and says, "Nice work defending Grayskull against Demona. Dante, I hope you're recovering well enough."
Does this look like recovery? Do you think recovery is possible with this?
Dante, I will point out at this point, if you wish, you can have a metal skeletal hand, which has been grafted onto you.
My recovery is great. I have this metal hand now, and I can crush things very easily.
Couldn't he crush things easily before?
Yeah, he always had superhuman strength.
Yeah, I feel like your metal hand is maybe a little less strong than your normal hand.
No, this hand is the best hand.
So I'm assuming you turned down a false epidermis, which was offered to you by Mordin and the emergency medical hologram.
Oh yeah, it's metal. It's exposed.
So, all of you take a seat around the large stone table. Doc Brown steps forward and says, "Since Flemeth joined us, some of the magic users decided to allow her to take a look at the tome which you recovered in Jurassic Park to see if perhaps her abilities could help them make some progress in their translations." Flemeth remarks, "Yes, centuries of experience do come with certain perks." Doc Brown nods and says, "Well, apparently so. She was able to decipher a passage which pointed to the world where another one of the gems is located. I was able to cross-reference some of the locational data from this passage with my own multiversal map, and I've been able to pinpoint where the world is. Unfortunately, this is a world we haven't explored yet, so we're not entirely sure what awaits you there. And we don't have any leads as to where precisely the gem will be. All we know for sure is that the gem looks like a sapphire, and presumably is the same size and shape of the other 2 gems that you've recovered so far. Once you arrive, it might be a good idea to seek out someone who's familiar with the world and its history, who might be able to point you towards a likely lead. With your varied skills and resources, hopefully this shouldn't be too daunting a task. Any questions?"
So Mordin's gonna say, "So, we're going to a plane that we know nothing about, and we're looking for a blue stone, and that's all you got?"
I realize it's a bit of a long shot, and normally we try to have advanced scouts, but honestly, none of us have ever explored this plane. Haven't explored most planes. It's been lucky so far that we've had scouts in planes where 2 of the stones have happened to be.
Are you going to tell us the name of the plane?
Well, we don't know what the plane is. None of us have been there yet.
Did you give it a preliminary name?
He lists off like a string of letters and numbers.
Blueberry.
All right.
All right, we're going to Blueberry.
Yeah.
Mordin's going to say, as much as I would enjoy to go along with you, I think I might need to sit this one out. There's a lot of research I have to do. I feel as though I'm getting close to finding a way to cure the Phyrexian infection, and if I'm able to do so, then it might actually give us a way to finally have a way to reverse some of the planes that they've taken over, and that could be a big help to us. I feel like there's someone else who can wield a gun as well as I can that you can send along, but this is something that I'm uniquely qualified to do.
Oh man, that's a great idea. I really think you should stay. That's just that is really a fantastic plan.
Buffy and Doc Brown both lean forward when you start talking about potentially unlocking a cure for the Phyrexian infection. And Buffy says, "You really think you're that close?"
Tissue samples that we recovered from Lace are unique. Give me new insights into the disease, new pathways to follow, open up possibilities that haven't been there before.
Well, if you think that that's what you need to be focusing on, then it's certainly a worthy goal. If you wish to stay behind, then I suppose that's the way it has to go.
May require me genetically engineering a mimic of the symbiote suit that previously covered Stitch. Hopefully won't turn out to be too dangerous, but we'll see what happens.
Stitch is gonna jump onto the table and run over to Mordin with just like surprise and kind of hurt in his eyes, and he's like,
But Mordin, you're not coming? Who's gonna do science stuff and argue with Nico? and complain?
Mordin looks Stitch in the eyes and says, Stitch, you are much smarter and much better at science things than you give yourself credit for. Here. And he's going to hold out the DDC to him. Say, I know you know how to use this properly when you need to.
What?
Stitch has this
What?
look on his face of severe concentration. Every fiber of his being is having to hold him back from just putting that in his mouth.
All right, well, the DDC torch has been passed, whereas previously it was stolen many, many times.
So Mordin, you're gonna keep an eye on that sword, right?
That's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess Luna's gonna go see Mordin and just look at him, such big eyes, and then just hug him and hold on to him for much longer than Mordin is okay with.
Mordin's going to give her a little pat on the back and say, appreciate the gestures of affection. Will help me when work gets hard. Help me know what I'm fighting for.
Thanks, Mort. And then just kisses you on the cheek and then goes before she just starts ugly
Mordin's
crying.
like, that was a little much. That was a little much.
So yeah, you all gather in the arrivals room, Stitch very intently holding on to the DDC.
So Mordin's going to walk up. He's going to go over to Stitch and hold out what looks like Lace's nose ring. And he says, there's a sedative that's been placed inside of this. There's a button that you can press on the ring itself, and there's also a remote control. If the infection shows any sign of spreading or her behavior changes in any way, you can feel free to use this, and it will peacefully put her to sleep.
Oh.
Stitch gives Mordin a kind of a wary, naughty scientist sort of look.
Okay.
And he looks up at Lace.
Lace just bends over so you can put the ring in her nose. At this point is when I'm going to say that Nico arrives. And Nico, I believe this is the first time you are seeing Lace.
Oh yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, this fucking raptor looks super familiar now.
Yeah, it does. Whose dinosaur is that?
She's a cousin.
Right, but who's she linked to?
Linked?
Yeah. I mean, she's from the 27th century, right?
Is Jurassic Park there?
Genetically coded to somebody's DNA? No?
Both Lace and Stitch blink in unison.
I don't even know why I even bother talking to you people.
Stitch, with the DDC in hand and the coordinates pre-programmed, you hit the button, the DDC pops open, and there's that crackling electric bubble which springs out of it and envelops all of you. The crackling electrical field vanishes as the DDC slams shut and reveals a new world around all of you. The first thing that you notice is the color, which seems to be brighter and more saturated than you're used to. Everything from the bright blue sky above you to the lime green grass under your feet to the bushes dotting the area all seem to almost pop with color. You're in a somewhat elevated position. Not far from where you appeared, a cerulean-colored river drops off a cliff into a white-capped waterfall. And looking around the landscape, you can see a slightly weird area of strangely shaped hills, tall palm trees, and strangely, the occasional green pipe sticking up at various angles straight from the ground. And these things are like large enough for a grown man to easily slide into.
Oh, jeez. Why?
Oh, I forgot. Liz hates Nintendo.
In addition, you even notice that floating about 10 feet off the ground in places are these cubes that are maybe a foot or two on a side. Most of them seem to be made out of red brick, but some of them are bright yellow in color, and they feature a large question mark on the side. And indeed, one such cube actually floats not too far from where you landed. What do all of you do?
Go to a corner and cry. Use my new hand to grind those brick cubes into dust. Punch holes in every green pipe.
I will defeat this land.
Stitch is gonna jump onto Lace's back and then stare at the DDC to like figure out, does it have any kind of like guiding signal? Does it have anything to... Is it basically just taking us here and it doesn't help us beyond that?
The only thing that the DDC shows you are the location of extraction points. So obviously you guys are standing at an extraction point because that's the only way you can enter a world. But yeah, that's all the DDC is giving you.
I think I'm gonna go touch that cube.
So Luna, you walk up to this cube. As I mentioned, it's floating like 10 feet up. Just a big yellow cube with a question mark on each side.
I'm gonna get on my broom and go look at it.
Okay. Yeah, you float up to it.
I'm just gonna pet it.
Yeah, it feels boxy, you know.
Does it feel soft or smooth?
It feels smooth, and it doesn't feel soft. It has a little bit of a spring to it.
Oh, then I'm gonna like poke it and see like if it gives.
Not really. Pretty solid.
I'm gonna try and grab it and pull it.
It does not move at all.
Oh, that's odd.
It is like rooted in midair.
I kind of want to get off the broom and try and stand on the cube, but that's a terrible idea. Just gonna lean on the cube and see if it supports my weight.
I'm gonna go investigate the pipe.
You approach the nearest pipe, which is extending from the ground at this diagonal angle.
I poke my head inside.
Stitch, can you get up here?
Stitch is gonna like pat Lace and, point, like go up on those blocks. And so, yeah, I imagine she's gonna do some sweet Velociraptor jumps.
Okay.
Velociraptor parkour!
At this point, you're going to hear a voice say, "It works better if you hit the bottom."
And then we'll look at the box. Did the box talk?
Wait. Someone said hitting something. I immediately come over and do a freaking Superman punch into the box.
All right, so Dante runs up and does a Shoryuken into the bottom of the box, knocking off Luna and Lace and Stitch, who were all standing on top of it.
Oh, okay. No, I caught part of my broom anyway.
Dante, you land after your punch, and a single oval-shaped gold coin lands in your hand. And looking up, you see that the box has changed from being yellow with the question mark symbol to just being sort of like plain and flat and brown.
Give me all your money, world!
I turn with my staff toward the place where the voice came.
You don't see anything. You hear a little voice say, don't hurt me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by it.
Thank you!
I cast Reveal Invisible.
Hasn't Miles done some sort of reveal invisible thing before? Didn't you do that on the ninja guy?
Yes,
Yeah.
He's using the Tome of Eternal Darkness. That's not coming from the staff.
Right.
Narakath, Redgimor, Ulios!
Blue glowing runes appear in a circle around Nico, and then there's this blue light that washes out and does in fact reveal someone who was invisible.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I pop out of the ground. I grow out of it like a flower super fast. So the person you see before you is sort of like a little purple cartoon ghost. She is, I guess, like a little short for a human and isn't wearing really any like clothing or anything. Is just sort of like a shadow being, but she's wearing 2 white gloves. She has pink swirly hair that's covering most of her face. You can see like a little mouth though poking out. And then she's wearing what looks like a pointy witch hat that has stripes of white and pink on it.
This place keeps being not fucking weird, doesn't it?
And so she's going to say, "Oh my gosh, well, how did you do that? No one's ever been able to do that before. Wow, that's some really strong magic."
Yes, it is. Thank you. Who are you?
Sorry, don't hurt me. I didn't mean anything by it. I was just, you guys looked like you didn't know how to use a power block. I was just trying to help.
Oh, is that
That's
what that
fine.
thing is?
Nobody except maybe Dante is gonna hurt you.
I got a gold coin. Look at that. It's shiny. It matches my arm. I mean, my hand.
My name's Vivian. Who are you guys?
We're the Extraordinary League.
Are you guys like professional wrestlers or something?
Stitch is gonna pick himself and Lace out of the, like, grass that they were thrown to, and Dante fucking Shoryuken the goddamn cube. He's gonna pitter-patter over to this little weird ghost lady.
Whoa, how'd you manage to get a Yoshi? I thought they were all locked up.
What?
What?
What's a Yoshi?
Oh, it's kind of a weird looking one. He's kind of detailed looking.
His edges are so well defined.
She is Lace. I am Stitch. That is Luna. She's wonderful.
Aw, thanks, Stitch. You're wonderful.
And that's Nico. She's
Whatever.
grumpy.
Whatever.
And that's Dante. He's Dante.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm probably not gonna remember all of these names.
That's okay.
Just call cousin. All cousin.
So, what are you guys doing here? You kind of like just appeared. It was weird.
We're looking for something, but first of all, we're definitely looking to know where we are.
Yeah,
What
where's
is this
here?
place called?
Right now, we're just outside Hoo Hoo Village, actually.
That's a very interesting name for a place.
Where are you trying to get?
Have you seen a blue stone?
Probably.
Have you seen a lot of bluestones? Because we're thinking of a specialer one.
A sapphire, specifically. It's a sapphire.
Well, I mean, the biggest and coolest bluestone that I know of is the one that's worn by Princess Peach.
Take us to her, please.
She's kind of in hiding right now. I'm not exactly sure where to find her. I mean, I kind of have an idea, but...
Is something wrong in this place?
Yeah, kind of. There's always something wrong, but this is a little more wrong than usual.
Is something wrong? There are floating blocks with question marks spitting out coins.
She seemed to think that was normal.
Okay, let's start with the Yoshis. What are the Yoshis? Is that a type
Oh my
of
god,
food?
Dante is being the voice of reason.
Is that a type of food?
Is he?
Okay, everyone sit down. Do you have some snacks? Should I get some snacks? This might be a while.
Luna breaks open like a backpack full of snacks.
Pepperoni?
And then
pizza?
Luna shoves a bunch of pepperonis at Dante.
I think we're gonna have like a picnic or something.
The camera cuts to the fucking picnic scene.
Yes. So this place is called the Mushroom Kingdom. It's not where I'm from originally. I'm from a little ways away, near a place called Rogueport. If you go back far enough, I'm descended from people from this other dimension. It's like this Shadow Realm thing, but I only really knew the area around Twilight Town. Sorry, I'm getting in the weeds.
And Stitch has wandered away and is now punching all the cubes to get the gold out of them.
Anyway, there's a guy named... You guys know who Bowser is, right?
No?
Oh, man. All right. So there's this guy named Bowser. He's really bad. He's always sort of a menace, but this time he did something real bad. He managed to take over Peach's castle. He's got some sort of weird new weaponry. We have no idea where he got it from, but it's like super advanced. He's got like robot stuff, and it's really weird and strange, and no one could really stand up to him as it stands right now. As I said, he captured all the Yoshis on Yoshi Island, and he's completely turned into like a prison right now, and Peach had to go into hiding. She's part of this resistance force right now.
Wait. Speaking of robot stuff, have you seen my new arm? I mean, hand? You want to touch it?
I mean, I can't compare it to your old one, but it seems pretty nice.
His old one was a lot like the other one.
Maybe I'm one of Bowser's agents. Aren't you afraid now?
Are you?
Wouldn't you like to know? Mushroom lady.
You don't even know who Bowser is.
Dante, maybe. We
Your
should
stupid
save
bricks.
that threat for later.
And your boxes and question marks that disappear.
Stitch is gonna come running up with an armful of gold coins and just dumps them in the middle of the
Good Stitch.
What is this like? Is this actual currency? Do you use this for money?
Oh yeah.
Oh, how much do you think we need to survive here?
Not that much. I mean, there's like a lot of trees around that have fruit on them and stuff. You can get by without a whole lot.
What do you
but
have? Box farms?
I don't personally have a box farm. I'm more of the like adventurer type, you know. I don't know if you've heard. Did you ever hear about that 1,000-year door thing that happened a few years ago? No.
No.
I kind of saved the world. It was like whatever.
Oh, that's really great.
That's awesome. You have to
Yeah.
understand that we're not at all from here.
Oh, okay. Well, I did like team up with Mario, and he's like kind of my boyfriend now. But we're like it's like a little bit complicated. So I haven't seen him in a while. But yeah.
Been there. Been there.
Yeah, if anyone's gonna relate, it's Nico.
But he hasn't been seen in a while. I was coming here to try to find him because he's normally the like hero guy that we have to solve these kinds of problems. And he went to go fight Bowser a while ago, but he hasn't come out yet. And so we're getting a little nervous.
How long has it been?
It's been at least a few months.
That seems like a very long time.
But there's this resistance force that's trying to fight against him. They're called the One United People. And they're doing an okay job, but I don't know. They could really use some help. I was hoping to try to get him some Yoshis, but...
Peach is part of the resistance?
Yeah. They're super hard to find, though. I was wanting to join them, but I thought it would be good for me to, like, maybe, I don't know, do a thing to, like, prove myself first. Like, get them something. I thought if I could get them some Yoshis, that would be good. Because then maybe they'd, like, let me in. Because they're really not trustworthy of people nowadays.
Well, Lace is a Yoshi, right?
I don't know if one will do it. I don't know if their whole army can ride that one at once. I mean, he is very... something.
How many Yoshis are there?
I don't know, dozens, hundreds of them?
Oh, wow.
You guys seem like you're pretty tough. You have like swords and magic things, right? You guys look like, are you guys like hero types too?
Yes.
Sure.
Cool. Want to do some hero stuff?
I want to meet more like Lace. Where are Yoshis?
I can take you, but like I said, Bowser's kind of locked it down. It's turned into sort of like a sort of prison thing. But I mean, I'm sure you guys could handle them. We could set him free, right?
We find this Bowser guy and we kick his ass.
Yeah. Kick the shin. Hurts a lot.
Step 1, find Bowser guy. Step 2, ass kicking. Step 3, free dinosaurs. And step 4, find resistance and retrieve Bluestone from Princess with the weird name. Yes?
Now look, I would be fine with that order. However, Mario already kind of, it seems like, failed to beat Bowser. You guys are pretty cool, but I mean, you're not Mario, so like...
We're not Mario. We're the Extraordinary League.
Yeah.
Can Mario do this?
And then he throws a coin as hard as he can at, like, the nearest fucking tree or whatever the goddamn hell is in this world.
Yeah, so Stitch, you fling this coin like a frisbee, and it flies past the tree that you were aiming for and disappears into the bushes. And a second later, you hear an ow!
What now?
Several seconds later, you see coming out of the bushes are a large group of things. 4 of them look like weird giant brown mushrooms with like angry faces on them with little tiny feet that are moving them along. There's 2 things that look like really big tortoises, but they have wings, so they're just like kind of flying above the trees. Flying above them is what looks like a very small, fast-moving cloud, and you can see there's a tiny little yellow face with glasses peering over the edge of it. And taking up the rear are a pair of humanoid tortoises walking upright. These guys are very large. They're like probably about 1.5 times the size of Dante. Both of them are wearing helmets, and both of them are carrying hammers.
Okay.
Oh, jeez. Looks like Koopa Troopa. We should get out of here, guys.
One of them says, I think that coin came from over here.
Vivian's gonna grab Stitch and then disappear into the ground. You're gonna use Veil.
Yeah, I'm gonna start picking up gold coins from the pile and be like, what? You want your stupid box money back? None of us want it anyways. Take it. Leave. God, what is wrong with this world?
One of the flying tortoises begins to like fly in a little closer, but doesn't get too close, and says, what are all of you doing outside the prison camp? And do you have a license for that, Yoshi?
Are you a flying turtle bureaucrat? Is that what you are?
Are you talking back to me?
Vivian's gonna reappear and then throw Stitch aside and say, I'm sorry, I think I can only do one person at a time, and grab Nico and then disappear with her.
Wait, what?
I'm trying to keep you hidden.
It's fine. It's fine.
The woman that the paratrooper was talking to suddenly vanishes, and the paratrooper begins like flying in a panic circle and says, "They have magic users! They have magic users!" And all of the weird-looking creatures suddenly surge forward, getting into an attack position as they plan on taking out these resistance members that they've uncovered. Extraordinary League is produced by Dan Mulkerin, with logo design by Claire Mulkerin.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com for our theme song, Motherload, and to TabletopAudio.com for our background music and ambient sound effects.
You can find us on Twitter at SmashFic Podcast and search for the Smash Fiction Podcast on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube.
Subscribe on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Smash Fiction is made possible thanks to our supporters on Patreon at patreon.com/smashfictionpodcast. Please consider donating as little as $1 each month. It helps us keep the show going, and we have great rewards and extra content for those who help us out.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
Was there any way we could have made Skeletor our friend?
Yeah, if you give him the Havoc Staff.
Oh, damn it! Sorry. Guys, we could have had a friend who doesn't have a face.